time for your BT Extra with Bryce Wylde. And, you know, people hear these, we call them buzzwords if it doesn't affect us, things like gluten-free, but it's not just a buzzword.
It isn't. It's a well, it is a buzzword, but it's a medical buzzword of the day for a good reason. A lot of folks have caught on to the idea that gluten might not be good for a lot of us. And here are the stats for you. Basically, 1 in 117 people actually have full-blown celiac. And that's quite a statistic, but even more shockingly, of that 97% don't even know it. They're walking around with full-blown celiac disease and they're eating gluten, which is a protein found in barley, rye, oats, and spelt. And that's got to be kicked out of the diet for them to fare well. Otherwise, things like anemia, their whole body starts to break down. But then there's the other side of the coin, the gluten-sensitive folks. And there are those as well. But here's the deal. At the end of the day, whether you're celiac or gluten-sensitive, eating gluten-free foods is not necessarily healthier.
Everyone thinks that it is, right? It's going to mean that it's going to be the magic diet, and it really isn't necessarily.
No, these foods often carry much more carbohydrate and glycemic index, which means sugar values higher. So they are often not the healthier choice. They are if you are actually celiac or gluten intolerant. So I've got a little bar you can make at home that is gluten-free. It's also very high in protein and fiber, and the kids will love this. It tastes great as well. You'll help me make this along. So your favorite granola is 2 cups of that. Right, we're going to dump that in a bowl. We're going to add 2 nice healthy tablespoons of almond butter. You can use any nut butter, frankly. I also like cashew nut butter for this one, so nice 2 heaping teaspoons. An organic honey, and that's going to go right in there, and that'll help sort of the consistency along. We're going to hand make this, folks. All right. I love to add a little dried fruit, but a low glycemic fruit. There you go. Get out of there, honey. All right, off we go. I'm just going to dash some cranberries in there, and that's for texture. If the kids like
the honey. I thought that was it.
Nice. A tablespoon of cacao. I love this. Real health superfoods. Cacao for a chocolate flavor, and then last but not least is soluble fiber. And this is a Tomorrow's Nutrition. This is a guar bean extract. Soluble means that ultimately very, very high, necessary for good gut bacteria. And this fiber is imperative for an overall healthy gut and immune function. So away you go, and then we're going to mix that all up.
This is something that kids can help with too,
absolutely,
right?
Get their hands right in there. Sometimes the consistency, shows up a little like that. You can add some more almond butter, and you mix that around.
Yeah, because I was going to say, it's looking a little dry. So it really is like, you've got measurements, and I know you have recipes and all that stuff, but really, if it starts to stick together.
It starts to stick together, and then what you're going to do is you're going to add that onto some wax paper. You're going to roll that over, and at the end of the day, you're going to cut that into, proportion sizes that, that have the value of approximately a handful, and that's going to give you a very high protein, very high fiber, and very, very high antioxidant.
Now, I probably didn't mix it to the pure point, but I think people get the idea. So once again, you roll it up.
Roll that up.
Then you freeze. Do you refrigerate
You can refrigerate or freeze that, and at the end of the day, it's going to come, to a really nice hardened texture, right? Unravel. Not too bad. We can add a little bit more, of the actual almond butter. All right, and then we're going to freeze that. And at the end of the day, you just take your knife and you cut that up into little serving sizes.
And of course, it would end up being a little more textured. You could probably do a ball too. It would seem really so many great ideas.
My kids do that as well. Get your hands right in there, folks, and that's right there about the amount that you want in any given serving size. And you're going to get your fiber and protein for the day.
Perfect. Good for everyone.
Gluten-free.
Gluten-free and good.
And delicious.